Hey y'all, it's the Country Notary. Hope you're having a great day. As always, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Yes, I am driving. So if I look away from the camera regularly, that's just because I'm trying to be a safe driver, right? Safe driver. I checked around for auto insurance quotes last week, thinking that I'd get a cheaper rate because you get all these commercials. Oh my God, someone's home just burnt down. Thinking I'd get a cheaper rate, and as it turns out, I have probably one of the better rates that I can get. So it never hurts to try, right? So anyway, keep my eyes on the road. Make sure I keep my rates where they're supposed to be. Side issue. Today, early 2022, actually it's now February, and my year has kicked off great. Around January 17th, looking at my Notary Gadget accounting tool, and on the 17th of January, which was about halfway through the month, I had already made $1,500 doing, mobile notary service work. And I'm thinking, how is that possible? It doesn't even feel like I've worked that much. I mean, it's obvious that I had. So I was scrolling back through Notary Gadget, and surely enough, I had made $1,500. And the great part about that, I just hit my 1 year mark in December. But the great thing about that, Notary Gadget also tells me that my itemized orders, my itemized appointments are now more profitable than they were this time last year. Because this time last year I had to purchase a lot of equipment, and all that equipment is paid for. And now I'm making a bigger chunk of profit per order, basically, minus gas, and I'm not sure what else Notary Gadget calculates in there. Of course, expenses, along all my purchases, ink, paper, etc. More profitable, so that's always a good thing. This video is not about auto insurance, by the way, or Notary Gadget. Today I wanted to chat about knowing your market, understanding your market, okay? I've talked about this in a lot of my videos. I live in a very small market. There is not a place where we have a lot of people migrate to for jobs, or probably more people leave than move to, because it's just not a, flip the camera, what I'm talking about. It's just a little small, maybe medium-sized town in Southeast Texas that doesn't attract a lot of young families, college graduates, movers and shakers. And as I built my mobile notary business last year, reading, researching, watching videos, creating my own videos, just building my knowledge, I also had to realize quickly that I needed to learn the ins and outs of my own market in order to be successful. In order to be successful in business, you obviously have to know the market that you're working in. Any successful business person. If not, you're probably not going to be successful unless you just have an extreme fortune of good luck or a miracle. Any business has to know their market in order to become a profitable business. It's just business 101. I happen to have majored in business, but that's a side issue. Know your market. So what do I mean by that? What do I mean by know your market? We'll talk a little bit about the refinance boom that we've gone through over the last couple of years. As you guys know, as part of being a mobile notary, a big chunk of our income comes from refinances. A family or an individual owns a home, and because interest rates have dropped over the last couple of years, primarily due to the economic conditions brought on by COVID, the federal government dropped interest rates in order to stimulate the economy. It's a stagnant real estate economy, which motivated people, or I guess motivated is the word, encouraged people, enlightened individuals and families to refinance their homes to get a lower interest rate. lower interest rate, lower monthly payment, more money in their pocket, more money they can spend and put back into the economy. And some people also took advantage of that to keep their payment the same or even pay a little bit more and reduce the number of years that it will take for them to pay their home off, which is obvious a bonus, as well as build equity more quickly. So all the advantages of refinancing, which led to an increase in business for mobile notaries and more mobile notaries in the business as well. Some of us felt that maybe because of quarantine and many people shifting to home-based businesses or researching how to create a home-based business, how to become an entrepreneur, the market would be saturated for mobile notaries. That may be true in some cases. Not sure if it's true in my particular area. My income has been very consistent all throughout the year. There's competition, but basically I think there's enough market for the number of us that are mobile notaries to, make a good amount of money each. However, I've also read recently that the Fed, the federal government, the Treasury, or the Federal Reserve, who's ever in charge of the Federal Reserve, read recently that the Fed will be actively increasing interest rates over the next, actively increasing the prime rate, which is the base of interest rates. They'll increase the prime rate 4 times over the course of this year. So there'll be 4 incremental increases, so that by the end of the year, interest rates have gone up and at a gradual,
new text message from 58163.
graduated rate. 58163. That's SnapDocs, by the way. How does that impact what we do as a mobile notary? What does that have to do with knowing your market? Well, when interest rates rise, we will obviously have less work. There'll be less refis, less work for mobile notaries. It's just math. It's just straight math. Less refis, less work for mobile notaries. So if you want to stay in the game and continue to make money, as well as maybe make more money, how can you do so? Well, number one, I talked about that at the beginning. Know your market. Know your particular market. And that's something that I've been actively involved with this past 12 months. Understanding my market. I live in a market where there's not as much transient real estate business. Not as much, many people are buying, selling. We don't have a lot of new families moving to this area, college graduates, etc. A lot of the homes in my area, specifically my neighborhood, have not been bought or sold. They've literally sat here for years with the same owner, as well as many people inherit homes from their relatives, their deceased relatives maybe, and hold on to them and don't sell them, maybe because of family disputes or nostalgic purposes. They'll pay the property taxes, maybe put a renter in there, or literally pay the property taxes and let the home sit as a dead asset, and in many cases deteriorate to the point where it's no longer valuable to anyone. That's basically the market that I live in. So I'm thinking to myself, when interest rates rise as a mobile notary, how am I going to make money in this market that I live in? And by the way, this is not a light bulb moment. This is something that I've been researching and working on for the past year. It is early 2022, y'all, and at the point of January 17th, I had already made $1,500 as a part-time mobile notary after working my 9-to-5 job as a high school teacher. Knowing my market and learning more about how to make money in this post-COVID economy moving forward, in addition to what I've already been doing, is something that I'm continuously working on. But we're going to talk about this piece of it today. I just came back from an appointment. Property tax loans. Property taxes. What is a property tax loan? Individuals that own properties that are not mortgaged or not escrowed through their mortgage pay their property taxes directly to the county. The county sends a property tax bill at the end of October, if I'm not mistaken. Individuals can start paying their property taxes immediately. I think typically the deadline for property taxes is the last day of January without penalty, and then starting in February throughout the next months, interest and penalties apply. In my particular county, in July is the last month to pay the property tax bill before an increase, a huge increase, and if I'm not mistaken, it's a very large increase on the balance. I think somewhere in the neighborhood of 20%. So interest and penalties can actually add up to a significant number that obviously will put a person in more debt than they would have been in had they just paid the property taxes up front. But in many cases, people can't afford to pay their property tax bill. And I'm talking about bills that range anywhere from $1,600. I saw one family who did own a couple of rental properties as well as a restaurant. They were in debt to the county for $85,000. Had not paid their taxes, obviously, in multiple years. Property tax loans. I went back and looked at my month of January in Notary Gadget, and I realized that the majority of the appointments that I had in January were property tax loans. Last year, I took my first property tax loan, I think at the end of March, maybe early April. And it was a significant part of my earnings last in 2021. A significant part of my earnings. Well, I shouldn't say significant. Refis were the most of my earnings in 2021. I made a good chunk of change in property tax loans in 2021. This year, of course, now starting in January, had already amassed $1,500 in my market. And there's so many families, couples, individuals that own rental properties, land, inheritances, multiple properties that are not what we might think of in the real estate industry as desirable properties. There are no homes for sale in my area. I can drive a 10-mile radius and maybe see 2 for sale signs. But there's plenty of homes that are sitting. I'm calling dead assets because literally people own these properties and are not selling them, maintaining them. Literally, they're paying the property taxes on them or not, which leads to, again, falling behind on their property taxes and having to contact the company to obtain a loan to pay the property taxes so they won't lose the property. That is a big part of the market that I live in. And in doing this video, hopefully shedding some light for yourselves as well, if you live in an area, or even if it's not a small town like I live in, property tax loans are a big part of the real estate industry. It is a year-round business, and it is independent of the Fed's interest rate. As a matter of fact, the interest rates that are charged in these property tax loans are significant. Significant to the extent that if the loan is carried out through its full term, the borrower pays quite a few interest and fees on that loan. But they're desperation loans, and people, in many cases, don't have other options to take care of their debt. Do some research. Go online, Google property tax loan companies in my state, property tax loan companies in Texas, property tax loan companies near me, and pull up a list of property tax loan companies that may exist in your area and start contacting them. And that's basically what I did to get started. I drafted a simple email stating that I was a mobile notary, my zip code range that I cover, or the mileage range that I cover, the number of counties that I covered. I actually listed the counties that I covered. Found a contact from the internet through Google and emailed this letter to as many companies as I could. And in response, 2 or 3 companies replied right away. And I've been doing work with those companies all of 2021. And as I mentioned, it's become a big part of my business. as well as already in January. And I just left an appointment with a couple who met me in my hometown because they lived a little further away in a rural area. They met me locally and just completed a property tax loan with them, closing early February. And at this point, the 2022 appears to be the need for these types of loans appears to be, like I said earlier, a year-round thing, because last year I was starting new, didn't realize how big of a part of the industry this type of loan is, especially in my area. So that's something I wanted to share with you guys today. Google property tax loans near me, property tax loans in your state. First, determine if it is a thing or not. I'm not sure if it's a state, if some states prohibit property tax loans or some counties prohibit these types of loans. Find out if they are actually allowed in your state and county. Send them an email with your contact info and your credentials, and basically they either need you or they don't. Put me on last year with 3 companies, and now I'm a preferred notary with one that keeps me very busy. And as I'm making this video, I'm going to go back and touch base with the other 4 or 5 companies that I've heard from sporadically over the year to make sure they know I'm still actively notarizing, to put me back on their preferred notary list. As interest rates go up, my next piece of advice, notaries, continue to look for ways to diversify your business, new things that you can specialize in as a mobile notary, new topics that you can dive deep into and become maybe a specialist at. My thing right now, 2 things that I'm really working on are deeds, understanding all the different types of deeds. There are so many different types of deeds, how deeds travel from closing to the title company to the county, and that whole process, what the various types of deeds are, how they're recorded with the county, and how that helps me in my future growth as a mobile notary. Just understanding all this as I then further my and scale my business towards some other areas. In March, I will be attending a sheriff's auction, and in an attempt to purchase my first investment property. So I'm doing my research there, because again, as interest rates rise and refis start to level off and we get less business as a mobile notary, I do plan to keep, my business active and make more money. And investing in real estate is something that I've talked about and that I'm actively pursuing. And understanding those new processes and how it's been impacted by the economy, and how I can, again, keep my business growing, keep making money, is something that I'm continuously doing, because all of the knowledge and experience that I've gained over the last year, all of the knowledge I've gained as a mobile notary, the knowledge of real estate documents and transactions, I'm not going to let this knowledge go to waste. I'm going to put it into another part of this business so that I can keep making money, making moves, scaling my business higher, and not let the potential rise in interest rates and leveling off of refinances affect me financially. So glad I'm back. I just wanted to share that with you guys today. I've been gone for a while. Daylight savings time kind of hit me. I get off from my 9-to-5 job and it's kind of late, and then I'm out doing closings and it gets dark and I don't always have time, as well as great lighting to do videos. So I wanted to stop and do this video with you guys today. Hope you're having a great day. Hey, hit me up. My email address is in the description of this video. If you need more information on property tax loans, need any advice on how to contact these companies and pitch your game to them, shoot your shot and get started. A little bit more about the business and the nature of the business and the type of clients that you'll be working with and encountering, hit me up. I'll be happy to give you a free 1-hour consultation as part of what I do in my notary coaching business. Yes, I am a mobile notary coach. You may or may not have picked up on that previously. I'd be happy to chop it up with you and share with you what I've learned, as well as where all this is taking me, so that, again, I can keep growing, as well as help others who are in the mindset to keep growing as well. Have a great one. It's the Country Notary. Talk to y'all soon.